Namaste. Greetings from TTWREIS. I am Dr. Sharda Palakurti, faculty of the Department of English from this institution. Would like to share a brief video presentation on report writing, documentation, and its relevance in NAAC preparation for the institutions. So, I would like to give a short presentation through the help of PPT. Well, so before we begin with what actually the writing procedure and all, let us all understand a fact. Communication happens in many forms and writing is considered to be one of the complex form. In this context, any communication has formal and informal, while for us, report writing, let us understand, it is a formal kind of communication and is considered to be the most used one in academic and professional fronts. So now that we have understood that communication in writing is important, and it is important because it remains as a record of evidence. So now let's know what is a report. I'm sorry. Uh, let's know what is a report. To define report in simple words, it is, as I said, a formal document and a document which consists of statements of facts and is designed for its accuracy and authenticity. I request you to please concentrate on the fact that unlike any other writing drafts, we are not going to fabricate in terms of details or language or the structure. We have to simply understand a report is a document of facts. So in that context, let us remember for NAAC accreditation, we are going to keep everything fair and the truthful facts in the form of writing. And since I said report is the document of facts, we need to also remember how good and how effectively we can make or maintain a report. So in that context, I give you a simple formula of CCCO. It is 3CO formula. So what does this 3 C's actually mean? The first C stands for its clarity. And any kind of writing or any kind of speaking or any kind of reading and any kind of listening between the individuals or between the organizations, the communication needs to be clear. And so is with our reports. We need to see that the statements that are mentioned in that report need to be unambiguous. It should be very clear in terms of its decision, conduction, evidences, and the reporting form. And having said that, we also should remember and follow the second C, that is concise. I forgot to tell you that when I was talking about report, we have defined the report, and report can be of three different forms. One is in the memo form, as short as memo, and as long as a thesis, but we usually follow a letter format of report. So the length vary when we prepare a report. But in any form of these reports, we need to remember to follow the second C rule, that is concise. It is like we should always kiss our report. KISS, which means keep it short and simple. We need to remember that the report should include all the required details. However, they should be always in a comprehensive manner. So it should be short and simple. And third C is something which we are actually aiming at. That is, the report should be compelling. What does this compelling mean? Let us all understand that whatever now we have started the process, whether it is documenting, conducting of events, organizing unique practices, and so on and so forth in the organization. Why do we keep them as a record in the form of writing? I mean, reports. It is to have a better accreditation for the institution further, which would help the students, staff, and the people, administrative people in collective as the stakeholders of those institutions. So, leaving apart all those things, what does this compelling mean? Compelling is it should be like convincing. I mean, every statement and sentence that is written in the document should be able to add on to your point and make people or the authority or the person to agree with and nothing else. So it should be very gripping and convincing kind of statements that you have to keep it in your report. All right. And then the final O or H, that is objective and honest. When we say objective and honest, we all know that whenever we are reporting, we need to remember that it should be from the third person perspective. You should not report or make a report writing as if you have involved. That means, in terms of English language, don't use first person narrative, make it third person narrative. All right. And honest, as I said, it only emphasizes again the very first point that we have begun with. Report is always a facts, uh, collection. So it is a factful event and document. So you need to be honest whatever you put it on the document. If you are keeping something on your document, see to it that that exists and also has an evidence. If we can remember all these facts, probably we will also synchronize the organizing of the event and also documenting of the event in the institution. Well, then now, since I said what elements of a report actually should include, we'll also know the structure of the report. Well, this slide is actually a way bigger image of what we use in our institutions. That means report writing, what we are talking in this presentation is from the perspective of reports that we make for our accreditation process. But this format is something uh, which is very technical or management purpose, where a report can be as lengthy as a thesis or 250 pages or 30 pages or 40 pages length. But still, for better understanding of the fraternity, the staff colleagues, I wanted to post this in the slide, because this we can minimize the micro form of this structure is what we use in our reports during our reporting of the events in the organization. So what actually the format of a report consists? It consists of an executive summary. What is an executive summary? Since I said that reporting is all about the events and the happenings and the facts that exist for that particular title, it can be as elongated as possible. So we are going to keep the very first page of the report would be more or less a summary. It would be the highlights of the main report. So that is considered to be as executive summary. And then, since we say that a report can be as long as 40 pages to 200 pages, we definitely have to keep this table of contents. Well, where can we come across this kind of report in our case of working for accreditation process? It is for your institutional plan. When we talk about institutional plan, when we send our SSR report, probably we need to have all these kind of components included. Since a report is very lengthy, you need to keep invariably the table of contents or index page, so as that becomes very handy for reference for the person who reads through. And then, as usual, any piece of writing or any piece of communication must have a proper introduction, and proper supporting statements, which you call otherwise, in other words, the body of the communication, and then proper closing in terms of writing it is conclusion. And then we need to add on in case if something is referred, very important, mention the references and the additional details as appendices. So this is the large image of any reporting format. For us, where our reporting would not, I mean, when we are talking about the reports that we keep or prepare for the department level will never be exceeding more than 2 to 3 pages in terms of writing, then this is to be consolidated in three important things. We need to talk about the day of the report, and then the introduction of the reporting part, and the proper sequencing of the same introduction, and the closing of it. All right. Since we have discussed about the report writing and the structure, let me also add on to the details of your report writing knowledge. What are the top 10 types of reports? I mean, this is again for our broader aspects of knowledge. Well, out of all these 10, I'm sure more or less our reports will fall into the seven categories, excluding 3, 4, and 5. That is operational reports, product reports, and industry reports. I'm sure these three also will be excluded because we are doing it at our institutional and department level. So any of the other kinds of reports that are mentioned here are invariably we are going to prepare in our process of preparing for your accreditation. Well, now that we have understood what is a report, what are the important elements of a report one has to remember? That is, it should be unambiguous. The sentences should be clear and then concise, short and simple, and then compelling, which should be convincing and gripping statements. And then we have also discussed the structure of the report. And now we are going to deal with the second important agenda point of this presentation. It is how to prepare a report on programs conducted by the respective faculty or by the respective departments. So, to talk about how to prepare, let us first understand that we are going to prepare for any kind of program. We are going to have two important reports. One is the consolidated report, and the other one is event report. And consolidated report is the combination or the combination or amalgamation of evidential details plus the event report prepared. What is a consolidated report and what is an event report and how is it prepared? We will understand from the further slides. Since we said how to prepare, let us understand we are going to prepare everything in the form of soft copies, which I don't mean to discourage people who prepare it handwritten. In fact, handwritten copies are far relevant and authentic, but for the better understanding and for the staff to follow the standardized measures of any accreditation bodies, we need to remember, let all the IQAC committee members of the institution remember that they need to be computerate and should have, if not sound knowledge, a decent knowledge on operating systems. And when I say operating system, especially with MS Office, your knowledge, your decent knowledge on MS Office would be the right component to prepare the soft copy of the department's activities. So I have kept very clear on this slide what is that we have to make ourselves handy and remember while preparing the soft copy of any report. Please remember it in coordination with my earlier slide, that is consolidated report and event report. So any report actually when prepared in the form of soft copy should always follow these important points. So what is the first thing is, obviously we are going to prepare a copy in MS Word. So the Word document. One need to be decently aware of the Word document usage. And then for any kind of copy that you are preparing at your institutional level, whether it is by an individual faculty or whether it is by the department, you should always follow the college header. Until unless if departments also have come up with their individual logo and department you know uh, department header kind of stuff. Otherwise, we all have to see that all our documentations from the institution should follow a similar header in their soft copy. In fact, soft copy or hard copy is all what you prepare in the form of soft copy, because the copy that you take the print becomes your hard copies for the submission. So you have to follow a proper college header. See that the Gurukulam emblem and preferably the Telangana government emblem is placed, and then your college name, the address, and then proper font size and proper color. I mean, it should be very synchronized. If you are using blue or purple or black, anything has to be systematically maintained in all of your communication that happens from your college. So that is to follow the college header. And please remember to maintain continuity of your reports by numbering it. It is nothing but like maintaining a proper documentation. That is, you have to got to give the sequencing of this communication when you make it in written form. For example, if I have to submit a soft copy, a report of my meetings that I conduct as part of IQSE, then probably my sequencing would be RDC Mulgu, that is my institution's name, and under IQAC, again, under IQAC, there are different kinds of activities, are different kinds of headers, but this is one something minutes of the meeting. So exclusive meetings that have been conducted under IQAC and its report, the report number 2. So this is the sequencing. You have to invariably start following this sequencing to standardize your reporting procedure. And then when it comes to the MS Office Word document, please don't work much on it. You can always follow the standard page margins which are available when you open a new document of your Word. And further, never forget, you as I said that a report is not a fabrication document or draft. It is neither with the details nor with the structure. So please remember, don't use all decorative and ornamental structures or styles. Prefer font styles, either Times New Roman or Calibri. And we all know that if it is size, for headers it would be 14, and for the body you can always use 12. And when it comes to the case of the letters, alphabet, please make the wise use of uh, case I mean, the point is, you should be wise enough to understand where to use the sentence case, where to use all caps, and where you have to use lowercase. So this should be judicially used in your report throughout. And when you are, since I said report, and it would be not a lengthy one, it would be a letter size of report that we are using it, or we are going to make it in our institutions, we'll put it in points. So please maintain again a systematic practice. Either you go with the bulleted format or numbering format. This should be very, my point of emphasizing is, please have a synchronous practice, very systematic practice of either it is in the form of formatting, layout, or your reporting style. And then after bullets and numbers, please, this is something which I'm talking for your consolidated report. The last point, add photos, tables, or brochures, invitations, feedback forms, or what should I say, press reports, everything appropriately to that particular reporting document. So these are the things that you have to see that included in any of the soft copy that you prepare for the activity that you conduct either as an individual or as part of your department. All right. Then we have some do's and don'ts. Well, this is a slide which I picked up from the net, but I would like to give you in my words. Please remember, be very clear when you are using your reporting form. That is, always maintain a systematic format. And please be clear with your font style, size, and then using of your caps. And you should be very clear where to bold and where not to bold, where to italicize, where not to italicize, and all these things. Don't over over italicize or over bold. We should be very judicial in or rational in using all these effects in your document. And please always use your spell checker, grammar checker. Let me make it one point. I often listen from our Gurukulam staff and fraternity friends that, Madam, you people are English faculty, but for us it would be very difficult. But with all due respects, my dear colleagues, let us understand that when we are making a report, we are recording it for our lifetime. We are documenting it for future years. So we cannot dare to make or commit any errors, either it is in the form of language or in the form of concept and any other purpose. So please consult your apps that you have handy if you are tech savvy, or please take the help of your fellow colleagues or your principal or your IQAC coordinators or anybody from outside or inside of the institution whom you think that yes, they can help me. Make a third person or objective kind of scrutiny of your report before you post it in your website or to accreditation people in future. So have a grammar checker, take care of your spellings, and also when I said that you have to, since it is an academic and a professional document, a formal document, we cannot make use of jargon. Please avoid slang, SMS language, or statements which sound very casual in its framing. So please check all these things. And as I said earlier, keep it simple and short. And what are the things that you have to avoid in while preparing a report is, please don't be very casual in approach, either in terms of posting the details or in terms of using the language. You should always sound quite professional, serious, academic, and formal. Well, all these form the same line of responsibility. And then the second important, the moment we said it is academic and formal, please don't take it too serious and make it very complex in understanding and in structure and in its appearance. Use simple but compelling one, either in terms of details, again I repeat, in terms of language. And please avoid the cliches, at the outset, however, or come up with some kind of using of idioms, as he said, practice makes man perfect. You cannot use these kind of statements in a reporting document. until unless it is something which actually is mentioned and it adds to the information in the report. You cannot use cliches. The moment I say cliches, if not the routine statements, you should remember that don't use proverbial statements or idiomatic statements until unless it demands. And please avoid emotive language. We usually use even in our formal WhatsApp groups because we understand that that adds the effect of our communication, but that is not the case with your reports. Don't use SMS language and emotive language using signs, smileys, symbols, pictures instead of a word. Please do avoid them. And as I said, always make a third person narrative, a third person reporting. You should not make use of first person, either I or we as a college. And when I'm talking about language part, please remember, be clear with spellings, the choice of words, and then tenses, that is structure of sentence. Use a similar tense. Don't jumble with your tense forms. Either you use past or present perfect, but see that you use it consistently, a single tense throughout the report. Again, there is an you know what should I say, uh, exception. If a particular statement demands for the change of tense, you can use it very well. All right. And the next, documentation. See, there is a big question for all of us. What is this documentation? We prepare report and that's the end of the job. No, I have to tell you, my dear colleagues, the amount of evidences, the amount of the expertise and the perfection that you keep in your documentation is the only, should I say, the only input that will definitely add value to your accreditation process. So we are talking about the documentation only. We have documentation for different, in different contexts and different forms for our NAAC accreditation or any other accreditation bodies. But for now, in this presentation, we are discussing for the activities at department level or an institutional level. So we would discuss the kind of documentation that is included for a particular activity. As I said, any activity when we conduct, you have understood how to prepare a report for the programs conducted. I said consolidated and event. So you can now understand that these whole pack of documentation is a consolidated report. And then report of the event is the event report. So now you understand all these need to be properly kept in their soft copy sequence and even in your hard copy forms. So imagine we have, I'll try to explain this with an example or a sample. A Department of English has planned out for an extension lecture for the for English faculty on soft skills. So the event is decided and the program has been organized and is completed successfully, and now we need to document the whole process. So we should start. Where should we start from? We should start from the date of inception of the thought of conducting one such event. So what would we say in record? We will say that as part of IQAC meeting, in the meeting we have decided on behalf of Department of English, for this semester we would organize a an extension lecture from so and so person, a resource person from so and so university. So this has been taken as a resolution in one of the meetings of the IQS. So that meeting resolution copy you are going to attach. And then once it's decided, you would now send a request letter or a letter of knowing the, what should I say, Mm, knowing the consent letter, either letter of request or consent letter to that particular individual in writing through your college. That means from the principal's desk, you will send an email or a letter to the resource person requesting that under IQAC, in collaboration with the department or in association with the Department of English, would like to request you for accepting an invitation to be a speaker and give an extension lecture on soft skills and mm, the need of the hour for the staff of English department, something like that. All right. And then probably this you will do it informally, but you should also have a letter of request in writing. That also you will be adding to it. And then you will receive a letter of acknowledgement. You can add, and this request letter and approval letter is if there is no resolution. Imagine that there was nothing IQAC meeting and resolution, but department itself has planned in the department level meeting. So what it would do, department head would send a request letter to the principal for the permission, and then they will receive an approval. All right. So approval, and then you will have a letter of intimation or letter of consent for the speaker, and then acknowledgement. These all you will keep in the documentation. Then probably you will prepare a brochure, and then you will have an invitation sent, and then you will also have the sheet schedule of the day, and then probably the participants will be given the certificate. So the certificate, format, and then the feedback, and then the photographs of the event, press coverage, and then you will also submit the report of that particular day event conduction. So this whole process will be under one activities documentation. Hope I'm clear. And then next, to give you a clear idea of this sample report, I will try to keep one of the colleges, I mean government degree college, as I said. I'll take the report. See, you'll find this. In fact, why we are so much focused and need to be updated with this reporting procedure is everything should be uploaded and kept open in the website for public browsing and even for the people who wish to visit our website. So as I said, for any event, what will be the documentation? There will be a little difference in the documentation process, soft copies and hard copies. In soft copies, we won't keep the documentation of the consent email and acknowledged emails, but we do keep them in our documentation of hard copies. So see, please take this. This is imagine this is a one-day national seminar on trends and challenges in Indian education system, organized by IQAC of KDC in association with the department. So this is the brochure. All right. So this has been, and I am showing you this from the college website. So this is the consolidated report of a particular event conducted. This is the brochure. And then you have again a particular invitation. This is this is the invitation, and this is the brochure. It is an open invitation for all. So invitation. And then you have the schedule for the day, how it is conducted. All right. And then you have a brief report. The order can differ. I have mentioned the report in the last stage, but here we find it first, a brief report on the seminar. When was it conducted? What are the objectives? What is the outcome? And who all have attended? How the organization of the event happened at that particular on that particular day. Who were the speakers? What did they speak? What are the deliberations? You can keep on, but limit your. And now photos, photographs, photographs of seminar brochure release and speakers. Who were all the speakers and there? I'll just show you. This is the press coverage. In fact, apart from press coverage, we can also tag and keep the social media coverage. Like we all have our own Twitter page and Insta of college. We can always add those links also to this soft copy report. See, everything is how customized you do it and how different and unique do it within the purview of the acceptance of academic and professional format is up to us. All right. So these are all pictures. So this is the kind of document that we have seen. And now I'll go with another. Okay. How to prepare a report document. This is something which I've already submitted and many of the IQ's members might have already witnessed. I was telling you that we need to follow the emblem. In fact, I forgot to add for us because we are state government institutions we work. It is better to add even Telangana government, emblem. And we have Gurukulam emblem. This is, I have only, see, I decided to use only black color, but people can change the color, font color, and this is what. And I was talking about sequencing, something like inverting these all documents for your filing process. So, for example, I have kept RDC Novo is my college institution name, and I keep IQAC under academics. So academics, and then under academics, it is IQAC and then 7. I kept 7 as MOM. Okay. So it is IQAC, and under IQAC, this report is of minutes of the meetings. This is the meetings report and the number is 7. So probably I sequenced all the meetings including head office and college level. That is my style. I mean, I use this style. Probably somebody can keep, if we have only quarterly or half yearly or monthly meetings, review meetings from head office, you can keep them separate. But for me, like this is the number of meetings that have been conducted, and uh, you know, minutes of the meetings have been recorded. So it is a 7th meeting, and in fact, 2nd review meeting from head office. So this is what is date, and then sequencing, that is inwarding, and then what will be a kind of report when you have to do it for the meetings, because these are very frequent kind of documents that you need to file it and document it at department level and also institutional level. Please mention what kind of meeting was it, and then you have a date, venue, time, and then who is chairperson, who is convener, the members present, and agenda of the meeting. You need to be very clear with the agenda. And then agenda, minutes. See, usage of, I told you that we need to be very clear with our MS Office. Remember, the standardized margins, and then proper font. As I said, you use proper font, calibri, and then justify to give an appropriate look. I have justified it. In fact, these all things will be given to you in your computer orientation, not to mix it up and put you into much confusion and overloaded. So this is all my report. Since it's a review report, it is little lengthy, and then submitted and copy. Submitted to who and submitted by who. And I will post this as an attachment, and you can see that in the entire reporting process, I have used only objective, honest, and third person narrative. If you can read out any sentence of the report, you will find everything is in third person narrative. No personalization, no jargon, no cliches. I'm sure you can watch this as a sample document. Well, so this is what is from my end. And well, let me end it. Properly. I have to start a presentation. So this is what is sample report of KDC College, and this is the one I have given you for your perusal, for your reference. And let me tell you, my dear colleagues, this is what I've been using it, and you can always better it, and you can always take it as a reference. There is no hard and fast rule. Having said that, we need to work under the permitted formats for any official and formal documentations that are mentioned in your accreditation. So happy reporting. I shall stop my sharing of the screen, and I thank profusely the Deputy Secretary Sir and my dear colleague friend Harita Shankar for giving me this opportunity and keeping trust in me for this assignment. And I believe that my inputs can be of little use or can be as a reference for your further reporting process for the entire staff who are watching over here. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Have a happy day.